Hello and welcome back to SCL 3 Day 1. Congratulations to our victors of Match 4, Round 1, Pandemic Legion. And the first Pandemic Legion team to win anything. Out of the well, I say it's 2.5 Pandemic Legion teams because 2 really don't count. But this is Ari Danica in the studio, along with the wonderful commentators, Bacchanalian and Apathetic Brent, and our guest, Grammar Nazi, from our wonderful sponsor, SomerBlink, along with our other sponsors, CCP Games and Lorkin Desal. And before we get into the commentary, we want to go ahead and announce the winner for our third trivia question of the day. And the trivia question was, what are the real names of the founders of the pirate group, the Guristas? And the names are, and just so you know, this is being butchered in the worst way possible, Jirai Latinen, who is Fatal, and Korako Kasakami, who is the rabbit. And the winner is Shimozawa. So congratulations to Shimozawa. I hope you have fun in your Hematos, the Blood Raiders noob frigate valued at 390 million ISK, courtesy of SomerBlink.
Congratulations.
Yes, and I apologize for the ice cream truck. So I will go ahead and throw it to Bacchanalian and Brent so I can quit talking now.
Well, gotta say that was an anticipated setup from the PL team. That was the Tinker, setup of fame. There were a lot of complaints in the forums when we nerfed it down to 1 energy transfer per ship, but Pandemic Legion just showed that it's still perfectly viable. Maybe a little harder to manage the cap on it, but they ran it just fine. Had no trouble tanking the DPS incoming from the test team, and test really didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, I see this mistake made over and over again, and I don't know how people always make the same mistake since there's so much footage of that Tinker setup out there. When you come against that Shield Tinker, you don't go straight for the Tengu, which is a logistics ship. What you need to do first is try to break the Ferox to get the links off the field, so then you have a better chance of breaking the other ships. It's the same thing that Exodunks did last match, and actually the first time that I remember seeing a huge Tinker like that, and I know there was ones before this, but was AT-10, and it was Exodus Alliance versus Agony Unleashed, and they realized that the T1 link ship was the easiest target to break and also the linchpin of the setup. So when they come up against Tinker setups like that, they need to throw all their eggs into killing that Ferox as quickly as they can, and that includes bringing in small DPS ships just to try to tip it over as quickly as you can.
Well, I'll throw out a caveat to that. I'm sure. I could be wrong, but I'm like 99% sure that in the FanFest tournament when we came up against the Tinker, we did plow through logistics. But the difference being we had curse newts, we had newts on the Helas, so basically there was absolutely no cap at all on that, in the Proteus, and we just blasted right through it because it doesn't have a whole lot of buffer. But unless you have a significant amount of newting power on the field to shut down the cap on one of those, like you said, there's no point in primarying it. You get the link ship off the field.
Well, and also on top of that, in the FanFest tournament, there were no energy transfers allowed, so that makes a bit of a difference as well. But with the newting power being only a Megathron Navy issue, that's really no newting power at all against that team with energy transfer on the Ferox, both golems, and on the Tengu.
On the topic of newting power, I find it really interesting that we have seen a lot of Tinker setups today, but no one has busted out the one ship that would be really interesting to see against a Tinker setup, and that's
Armageddon.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of those yet. I'm kind of hoping that some team will pull it out just to go do a Hail Mary against Tinker setups and see if they can structure their bands around trying to shoehorn the team into the team they're playing against into a Tinker setup to see if they can break it.
Right, and the Armageddon has been changed in such that it's kind of a mini Balgorn. It's got 7 high slots, it's got a neuting bonus, and also 10% bonus to drone damage and hit points, and also fields a full set of heavy drones. So that would be a very good ship at countering this. You could put, four turrets on it and 3 newts, or any mix that you really wanted to, but it's important that you're able to keep your own cap up, so you wouldn't be able to tank it very strongly, but the DPS that it puts out should be pretty good for something that can pack 3 heavy newts pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm curious why we haven't seen the Geddon actually, because with the range on the newts in the tournament format and in terms of the size of the arena, it's really pretty effective ball of newting power, and I'm guessing we will see it here at some point, but as of yet we've not, and I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah,
Now-
especially when you see a team that has used a lot of their points, as was mentioned, on not necessarily DPS heavy ships. You'd think that maybe there would be at least a backup plan for controlling the Tinker possibility. But maybe that's a game 2 sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the test setup was a bit scattered. It was a lot of different things, like different ships that have different purposes, and it wasn't really focused enough for high damage to combat the Tinker or high neuting power. They weren't able to keep the Guardian. It stayed up a long time. Their Guardian was able to keep alive for a very long time, but they weren't able to do anything with that time that the Guardian being primary bought them.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of go all in with your damage, I would think. You either go all in with damage or all in with E-War, and they really kind of didn't do either. So, like you say, it's scattered. I'm not sure exactly what the thrust of that setup was. It was just, I don't know. We'll see if they come out with something a little more pointed, a little more thought out this next time around.
All right, and we do have the bans for the next match coming up, which will be match 3, round 2 for Insurance Fraud Inc. versus the Exodunks. And Insurance Fraud Inc. has banned the Golem and the Loki, and the Exodunks have banned the Sleipnir and the Proteus. And before we get to that, I just want to make a quick shout out to the EVE Online Pod Pack, which is available on the Aura Android application or at voicesfromthevoid.net/podpack. We're watching lots of great EVE Online podcasts there. And if you are in the Boston area, there will be a meetup on the 25th of May. Check out the out-of-game events for that. So what do you all think about these bans? The Golem and Loki for Insurance Fraud Inc. and the Sleipnir and Proteus for the Exodunks.
Well, I think that Golem is a wasted ban on Exodunks. Again, I don't think they've ever ran a Golem Tinker. Not that they wouldn't, but I think it's more just a fear ban. They don't want to come up against that. The Loki, I've seen Exodunks run that more often, but usually it's as a field control ship, i.e. long-range webs with a sturdy tank and a little bit of damage. I also don't think that that's a very important ban for them, because if I was Exodunks, I would just repeat what I did in round 1, bring the triple battleship setup because it worked. Put the ball in Insurance Fraud's court and make them bring something to beat it.
Yeah, in a best of 3, that's a fairly standard. You win a setup, and as they'll come back with it again. You have another match after that to change it up if you need to. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. See if they can come back. It's a bit of a mind game too, because do they expect you to bring the same? I mean, a lot of teams won't do that, so they maybe outthink themselves. So. It looks like the teams are landing on the field here, so we should be getting ready shortly.
They are. The teams are on the field. And so without further ado, here is going to be Insurance Fraud Inc. versus the Exodunks, match 3, round 2 of the Syndicate Competitive League. Day 1. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you all being here. Shout out to all of our great viewers. Be sure to tweet, to put it on Facebook, get the word out, get as many viewers as possible. The more viewers we have, the more great sponsors like SomerBlink and CCP we can get. The more viewers, the more great prizes we can give away to our teams and to our viewers as well. And so this is Ari Danica in the studio, along with Bacchanalian and Apathetic Brent, and our guest Grammar Nazi from SomerBlink, throwing it to our fantastically gifted EU team, Elendar and Selderain.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the second fight between Exodunks and Ensure.